New game against Sunnips with 2260 elo points. This time around I'm gonna be talking in English and I'm gonna have to try and speed up a bit since 5 minutes is not too much. What did we just miss? e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, c6, and then bishop c5, which allows for me to go for this sacrifice, knowing I have d4 afterwards, forking the knight and the bishop. So this is how far we've come so far. Knight goes back. I think the queen wants to go out and give a check. We're gonna have to see how to avoid that. Maybe by playing e5, since I think I'm not too scared of this check. I'm just gonna hide back here. There is no check or anything like it. Maybe even h4, preparing for our bishop to be able to come out. Maybe bishop check. We want to induce this move and only now we go back, since I think this is bad, sorry, for black. Queen comes out. We're gonna go probably rook f1. If the queen comes here, we can think about blocking, and I think I'm gonna do just that, since I don't want a queen trade. They can give a check, which doesn't do too much. I'm just gonna retreat and attack the queen. So I think they're gonna go all the way back, or maybe to e6. If they go to e6, we have to see that this square would nice to be a knight in there. So I'm just gonna go knight f4 immediately. Threat is knight c5. They block that threat more or less. But now this gives me maybe the opportunity for c4. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna just sacrifice a pawn. What do I do afterwards? Maybe b3, maybe knight back. So if b3, I think there's maybe b5, but then again, this opens this move for us. So I think I like the move b3. We just sacrificed a pawn, basically for nothing. But what do we gain? We get this square for our bishop. They take back. We're down a pawn. This is the idea, which would have great effects. If they do stop it with b5, well then that vacates this square for our knight. Queen there, we attack the queen again. This square is covered, this square is covered, the knight is covered. Everything is looking well so far. What can we do? We can maybe even play e6. We don't have this check since the knight covers it. So we're gonna have to find something here. Let's see, I could also start by moving away the king, but for some reason that looks a bit slow. I'm still gonna do it though. The queen, the knight can't jump in here since it's pinned to the queen. Well, it can, but I'm not recommending it to this guy. If they ever get castled on the king side, the king is rather safe, but that drops this pawn, with then an immediate threat of capturing this pony, since the other knight can't take back because it's still pinned. So if they do castle, I'm gonna take, and my plan is to take this knight in order to double their pawns in front of the king. The queen moves, alright. Let's see, what can we do? We just moved this king away, and we did that for a reason. We wanted the rook to attack this pawn. So maybe just a slow move like bishop e4 is good enough. I'm not sure, maybe e6 was better. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure e6 was better, but I missed a chance. The queen is attacked, and I think I'm actually just gonna move it. Why do I just simply move it instead of blocking? Well, the bishop was here protecting this square. Right now, rook a6 is my next threat. So as you can see, threat after threat, they protect against it. I could play b4, allowing for a4. Gonna have to see if that's good for me. I could also take the knight. I could play e6 maybe. The sacrifice here is kind of in the air, but not really. I could take here and then play e6. That could actually be good. But I think since the king is still in the center, I'm gonna go for this and just simply play e6. Not think too much. I only have 2 minutes on the clock. Anyways, they don't take it. They just move right next to it, attacking our bishop. Now I think I'm not gonna care about this bishop and instead go queen c2, attacking this knight twice, since right now it's protected. I'm saying the bishop, to me, is not worth as much as their knight on g6. That's why they can definitely take it, open another file for me, which makes it easier for me to attack. They realize that and move back. So a really passive move. On the other hand though, it attacks this pawn twice. So also a very good move by our opponent. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to d2 or f4. I'll have to see. Maybe f4. Looks a bit more active, right? Gonna sack this pawn. If my knight ever moves, the queen has chances of taking this pawn. So maybe soon my next move will be rook d1. And I'm not actually sure, I might have made some mistakes here. allowing for the position to kind of drift away and drift into a direction I don't like too much. Not sure. Gonna offer a piece exchange. I don't think they're gonna accept. Doesn't look too good, in my opinion. My bishop is kind of ready to jump in at any point. I could also think about d5 maybe. This pawn is attacked by the queen and only protected by the knights. Well, and the bishop, but I can remove that bishop at any point. Right now I'm just protecting this pawn. Not scared of any b4 or a4, I think I'm safe. Alright, they go here attacking my bishop and the pawn. So I can protect both with bishop g5. Once again pinning another knight to a more important piece, being the rook. I don't think I want to be taking here, although I could. You know what? I think I'm gonna do that and then go for something you don't see too often. I'm gonna sack the rook. I'm gonna sacrifice the rook, take back with the queen. If they do so, they're up an exchange, which looks good, but I'm on this knight immediately, and the queen being here looks really dangerous. I've got threats like queen f7 and then maybe somehow get to d7. We'll have to see. I think that was a good move by me. Right now we're even. I got their bishop, they got a knight of mine, and I'm gonna have to see what I want to do next. Maybe just rook f7, go for the knight and the pawn. Maybe double rooks. They take here. Alright, well, I'm just gonna go here. I'm attacking the rook, and I'm not sure what I do if they go back with the knight. Not quite sure, and they do find that move. I'm gonna go here, actually, attacking the knight twice. So if they don't pay attention, I'm just gonna take it. If they go rook here, I can still just take the rook. If the knight recaptures, I have queen takes g6. So I think my opponent is in a bit of a pickle here. If they ever move this knight anywhere, I'm just gonna take here with big effects. They cannot do something like, oh, I take here and then take the rook with some mating idea. That can't happen. The queen as well as the pawn are both protecting that knight. So I think I'm playing pretty well here. The opponent has 40 seconds on the clock. We have a bit over a minute. Rook here they do. I'm just gonna take this knight. I don't know if they overlooked it or they were just simply had enough of the position. And I think I can give a check here and go for a pretty checkmate, which is a rook sacrifice. We give a check, the king can't go anywhere, the knight will have to take. What do we do in that case? We go queen g6, which we can't do right now since the rook is occupying that square. So this is a move to vacate the square. The knight has to take, and this to me looks like checkmate in 2 moves. Since the king can only go here now, that's a pretty checkmate. We could also make it a bit fancy and give another check or another check, whatever. I think it's best to just give the checkmate. And I think that was a pretty good game. Thank you for watching.